Hello, all you fantasy football fans. Welcome back to the Fantasy Flavor podcast. Today, it's just me in here. Of course, you can see on the screen, I'm in a mock draft, picking seventh overall, with a few buddies from leagues around, as well as Dylan is picking, but he can't join us to talk right now, unfortunately. So, we're gonna get started here shortly. We have Chandley at the first slot. Uh, SM Johnson picking at the fourth slot, and Dylan, of course, is picking 10th. All right, you can. I'm gonna kill you, Dylan. But all right, I'm picking seventh, like I said. So we can go ahead and get started. We have 1 minute per pick, and everybody should be ready to go. I'm gonna type and make sure Chandler can get in here. All right, he should be in here shortly, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. If he might auto the first pick, but we'll see. All right, and we are starting. So with the seventh overall pick, of course, I'm not going to get any of the top four backs. So I'm looking at those next five, the 5 through 7. Um, David Johnson and Melvin Gordon. This is, of course, PPR, but both those guys are good for PPR. They both catch the ball quite a bit, and yeah, I think he'll probably be autoed for his first pick. But Davante Adams is another great pick for me. I love Davante Adams. He's been, you hear from uh, Aaron Rodgers lately that Davante Adams he wants to target him even more than he did last season. He gets open that much. It's going to be crazy. So I think Davante Adams could have a huge season, even bigger than he did last year. But let's see this first pick. Um, okay, so it's C-Mac, Zeke, and Saquon. Saquon going third. That was stunning. Okay. Um, so I'm assuming he's probably gonna go AK-47 here. Uh, if he doesn't, I'd be stunned. But of course, yeah. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Of course, there's David Johnson and Davante Adams. It's PPR. I also like DeAndre Hopkins, and I guess it is redraft, so Julio could be a good pick. Um, Yeah, I think I'm going to go Davante Adams just because of what we've heard. I'm going to take the first wide receiver off the board, and apparently he's going to put up huge numbers, probably. I really like him, and it should be a great pick. So let's go ahead and draft that, see where it goes from here. Of course, Hopkins and DJ go the next two picks, like I expected. Dylan is really big on Joe Mixon, so that was a good pick, honestly. I really like him as well. Ooh, Damien Williams that high. That's rough. Kelsey's a decent pick there, I guess. All those are decent picks, but I'm gonna skip out on Gurley just because I'm worried about that injury history. Dalvin Cook could be an option, or Mike Evans. I'm shying away from Antonio Brown because I don't know how he's gonna do in Oakland, but we'll work from that. So yeah, let's put it between Mike Evans, Dalvin Cook. I I'm just gonna do a I'm gonna do a RB0 strat. I think we did either that or a wide receiver zero strat in the first run. So let's keep it running with this. So I'm gonna go with Mike Evans just because of that upside. And then of course Dalvin Cook was next, followed by Antonio Brown. So let's see what SMJ does here. Nick Chubb, good pick. Gurley and Hilton. Gurley, of course, I said I'm shying away. We don't know about that injury. Even in redraft, it's kind of iffy if he's going to be good to go, and we'll have to see from that. While we wait and Chandley isn't here, I'm going to go back and recap a little bit. Um, the first four were expected, like always. Bell and Gordon were both two good picks. I probably would have taken Bell a little bit later, but I think he still definitely has that potential to be a top top 5. Of course, then you have Joe Mixon, who Dylan's high on. I'm somewhat high on, but I'd probably wait till second round. But I like him. I think he'll blow up this year. James Conner and Damien Williams, I think, are pretty high. James Conner, I've heard recently that he won't be getting as many touches this season, apparently. Juju is a steal, apparently, according to Dylan. And I honestly agree. Juju is going to be a big guy. He's the 5th wide receiver taken. I think he'll do great. Julio is another steal there because it's a redraft, of course, so you're not worried about the age factor. And I really love Julio. You know he's going to put up huge numbers, and he's the 6th wide receiver off the board. So that's insane right there. Dalvin Cook is a good pick, obviously. Antonio Brown is a good pick. Nick Chubb is a decent pick. I think he'll kind of regress in the second half of the season once they get Kareem Hunt back. But for the first half, he's a pretty good pick. Gurley, of course, is a no-go. Hilton is... I'm a Colts fan, so I love Hilton, but I don't know if he's... Well, I'd probably put him around there. Yeah, so... Keenan Allen, followed by Zach Ertz, so that's an interesting flip right there. Then Thielen, Fournette. I like Fournette. I think when he's healthy, he's going to be a top 10 back easily, so that's a really good value pick there just because of the overall volume of his touches. So we got followed by Amari Cooper, you got Devontae Freeman, and you got AJ Green. So at this pick, I'm gonna skip on a Pat Mahomes because I don't take QBs till late. I'm never high on taking a QB really high in the draft. Kittle was an interesting option. I think I'm gonna stick with the RB0 for now, so I'm not worried about Mac or Jacobs. Diggs is a good option. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with Kittle because I really, really love his upside. I think he's in line for a huge season this year. He's getting his quarterback back. But yeah, let's go ahead and take Kittle. Mac and Mahomes. Mahomes, it's a great quarterback, but I wouldn't take that high. Dylan took Diggs. I know Dylan is really high on Diggs, so that's a good pick. And Johnson. So he's got a good core already. Here, I think I'm going to go. I'd think Philip Lindsay, but I think I'm gonna flip it up because I always preach Philip Lindsay. I'm gonna do something different this time. Mark Ingram is interesting, but I don't know. Michele, I'm gonna not go for because I really don't like where he's at. I think he's a great back, but I don't like how high he's going when he has White in the backfield taking all those PPR, all those receptions away. So I think I really like I saw some recent stats on Cooks and how he does with other wide receivers out there. So I'm gonna go with Cooks here. The next time around, we'll probably start looking at a running back. We'll see who's on the board there though. See if we can maybe snag Kenyon Drake, who I am high on. You all already know that. Maybe a James White if Drake isn't there. I like White. He's a really good PPR back, really undervalued. There goes Drake. Philip Lindsay, of course, went right after my pick. So there's my 2 running backs that I'm really high on that Dylan always gets on me about, but whatever. Uh, yeah, these are some good picks in through here with Edelman and Coop are some really, really good receivers. I don't know how well they'll do, but I think they'll be high floor, low ceiling guys, both of them. So I really like the value with that. You have Sony Michele again. I'm not high on. I like his play style. I like how he plays. I just don't like him that high, especially with James White in the backfield, especially in PPR. So that's why I wouldn't take it there. Let's see what we get here. Mark Ingram. I'm just going to go ahead and auto this pick. Tyreek Hill. Alright, interesting. Andrew Luck, Calvin Ridley. Hill could come back, but I don't know about it. It's a huge question mark. Andrew Luck, I love. Colts fan. Ridley, good pick. Chris Godwin's interesting pick. Lockett is very interesting as well. James White, of course, goes right before me, so that's upsetting. But here, looking at the wide receivers, I don't see anybody that really sticks out to me right here. The only guy that really sticks out to me in this area of the draft would be Geis, just because I really think he'll have a huge year. Dylan has finally gotten to me on that, and I really think Geis is going to be a good back this year. So let's go with that. See who Dylan takes here. He was probably targeting Geis, so he's probably upset about that. With our flip around pick, we might want to look at a quarterback if I don't find anybody there that I like. Those are some interesting picks right there. DJ Moore right before, of course, Dylan snags him. That was one of the guys I was going to target. Miles Sanders is interesting. Cohen, I like. Alshon Jeffrey, of course, is very interesting. You go down, you see Robbie Anderson, who's a great value pick. I'm gonna see if he can flip around the other way though. See if I can get him at the 7th round. I'm looking at Cohen and Watson here. I usually don't take QBs high, but I feel like Watson, this is a good slot for Watson. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with Watson. Yeah, I like that. He's got a really high floor as long as he's healthy. So now I just need some more. I already have 3 receivers, 1 tight end, a QB, and a running back. So let's see who we get on the flip around again. And yes, it is PPR. Evan Ingram, Matt Ryan, Tariq Cohen. Let's go ahead and auto pick these. But there's Sanders and Coleman, who are 2 other interesting guys. Who should we be looking at here? I'm thinking we might look at Robbie Anderson. If he stays there. Okay, yeah, he's there. Let's look at our running backs that are left. Because we're really running out of time on that. We might just have to grab a secondary back. I think that's probably what we're going to have to settle for, unfortunately. I think maybe we go Latavius Murray, but nah, I'm just going to go with Robbie Anderson, see if Murray makes it around. Let's see. Yeah, I just love Anderson's upside. He's going to be in line for a big year. We'll see where we go from here. Maybe Rojo. I think he will do fine. Nah, there he goes. And Murray. Dang. You got Royce Freeman as well. Another guy we would have been looking at. Let's look at more running backs because I still need one. There's not much here. This is the one downside of waiting this late in the draft to grab a running back. So I think I'm just gonna stick with what I have right now. Look for upside options off the bench. Metcalf is an interesting thing. He's been blowing up. I love Christian Kirk. I might go with Kirk. He's been doing really well so far, apparently, in Arizona. Yeah, let's go ahead and go with Christian Kirk here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kirk. There's Breeze and Cook gone. See who SMJ takes. See, this is the weird part of the draft. This is the part of the draft that really gets sticky because if you don't grab what you need early, this is why running an RB0 plan this year is really rough because if you don't get a running back in the first 4 rounds, you're stuck with whatever you can find in the 5th round. I got lucky, found Geis, and then after that, it's just you don't really find much, and you have to start reaching for players, and if you do go running backs. But I'm gonna auto pick again, get it back around quickly. So at this slot, I think we need to look definitely for a running back because we have both our flexes, our wide receivers. We have 5 total wide receivers and 1 running back. So we definitely need to look for a running back here. And then we have to follow it up with probably a quarterback and a tight end. So we can at least get some mix in there. LaShawn McCoy in redraft is interesting. I don't know. Of course, he goes right there. Let's see. Honestly, in PPR, I'm not upset with Nyheim Hines. I'm probably just gonna go. Now I'm gonna go with Jared Goff. Get up me my backup quarterback here, and then on the flip around, we'll hope that Hines makes it there. See what we can do from that. Another option for that would be no, of course, there he just goes. Austin Hooper would have been interesting, but I think we're going to go Hines here just because catches a lot of passes, so he'll be a decent option as our number 2 back. It's still really rough. I don't like it, but I'm having to settle for that. So, let's keep it moving. See, this is where it gets really rough. All these players are just just chucking it at a dartboard. Nobody knows who's gonna stick, what's gonna happen. So it's really just you never know what you're gonna get out of any of these players, and it's just rough to try to project and see where you can get. At this slot, I'm looking at running back again, but I don't see anybody there that intrigues me, so I might look tight end. Delanie Walker is good in redraft. Olsen's another option for redraft. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with. Then there's also Dion Lewis. Lewis is another good option for PPR. So I'm going to go ahead and take Lewis here because we need a 3rd running back. We don't have any options at running back other than that. And Lewis has really good upside for PPR. There goes Fant, who is a tight end I probably would have been targeting. Let's see what Dylan does here. Deshaun Hamilton's an interesting guy. We probably won't take him though. No. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go Delanie Walker, grab our 2nd tight end because we need one. And with the final pick, we're gonna have to look at maybe rookies. That's probably what I'd do here because we don't really know what we're gonna get from anything. Valdez Scantling. Hold on, didn't I read that? And of course, I clicked the wrong guy. Scantling. Yeah, he's running with the 2s, so that will be interesting. I might go with Scantling. We'll see if he makes it there. Just because he's running as the number 2 receiver right there. They've been saying he looks really good in practices, so I really like the upside there. We'll see where that comes. If he falls, that's a definite option that I'll look at. Marquis Brown is a guy I'm high on. and I really like him. Let's see who makes it. Marquis Brown is interesting. Let's see, what's our running back situation still? See, when you get down here, it's rough. Darwin Thompson, actually. That's a guy you might want to take with a late pick because I really don't think Damien Williams is going to hold on to that starting gig all year. And Darwin Thompson has the potential to take over as that lead back in Kansas City. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Thompson as my RB forward just for the upside and potential that he is leading that backfield. And that's the end of the draft. So let's look at what the teams are set up with now. Jan Lee got McCaffrey and Mark Ingram as the starting 2 running backs. Keenan Allen, Hill probably won't be the starting there, but Anthony Miller and Devin Funchess, that's a rough wide receiver room, especially with Hill facing suspension. Zach Ertz, a great tight end. Sanders, Tevin Coleman as his flex guys, more than likely, and Eckler. And then he also got Hawkinson. Wentz is his quarterback, and Winston. So that's interesting. I really don't like the wide receiver room there, but I don't like my own running back room. So I don't know. It'll work from there. SMJ with AK-47 and Nick Chubb. I love Kamara. Think he might regress a little bit this year, but we'll have to see. And Chubb will be great for the first half of the season, like I said, until I'm blanking on his name now. But yeah, until the other running back comes back. And then you have Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, and Chris Godwin, who are some great wide receivers. Kupp is like I said, high floor, low ceiling. Thank you, Dylan. Kareem Hunt. There's the other guy. Amari Cooper has a really high ceiling, decent floor, almost to the low side though for me. Godwin is a boom bust guy. Ingram is a great tight end. I think he's great to go as I think he's the 7th tight end off the board, which is crazy because I think he could be a top 5. Penny, I know Dylan is really high on Penny, and I think he could have a good year. Golden Tate is interesting with the Giants. I think Shepard is definitely leading that room, but Tate could take a decent share of targets. Deontay Foreman could have breakout potential if Lamar Miller goes down with injury or if he just takes over. James Washington, interesting. Justice Hill, I love Justice Hill. He has the definite potential to take over for Mark Ingram this year, but I like him more in Dynasty because I think he's potential to break out in a couple years. Excuse me. Mitch Trubisky and Dak Prescott as his quarterbacks. With the last 2 picks there, Dak and Trubisky are some amazing values at quarterback right there. So that was a fantastic draft by him, I think. And you have my draft with Adams, Evans, and Kittle as my main 3. That's a great main 3 right there. That could be, if Kittle was a wide receiver, I think all 3 could be in that wide receiver 1 tier at the end of the season. You have Cooks, who's a high-end wide receiver 2. Big boom bust guy, but I think he'll do a great job anyway. Geis is a great value running back. I think he takes over as a workhorse this year potentially. I'm a little shy on him in PPR, what we're in right now, but he's still an interesting pick. You have Deshaun Watson as our quarterback. That's one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks being drafted, I think. Top 5 definitely. But he's a really, really good quarterback, and I think we're safe to have him lead the team for the season. And Goff is a great backup for that. Anderson and Kirk excuse me. Anderson and Christian Kirk are both high upside guys. heard really good things from both in camps, but we'll have to see where that goes. Nyheim Hines and Dion Lewis, those are my rough RB2 and 3. But I really like him in PPR for that value. They're decent value, especially seeing as what we have left, because they have that high floor for receptions, and they'll definitely give you points just catching the ball. Delanie Walker is another great value that deep in redraft. In Dynasty, he's a no-go, but in redraft, he until he retires, he'll continue to put up some good numbers, other than when he was hurt. And Darwin Thompson is just picked as an upside guy. He has the potential to lead that backfield where Kareem Hunt. We saw what Kareem Hunt did in his rookie season, and he can definitely has the potential to do that similar type thing. Moving on to Dylan's though. Mixon he's high on. Juju he's high on. We know both of those. Mixon and Juju are both great picks. I love both players. They can both be really, really, really high tier players next year for their positions. Diggs is another great value pick, but I'm wishy-washy on Adam Thielen and Diggs both being there. They both did great last year, but that's not to say they'll always do great. Kerryon Johnson, a great RB2. So already I'm liking Dylan's draft a lot because he has that RB2 that has the high floor and high ceiling. You have Tyler Boyd, who's a great wide receiver again. If A.J. Green ends up going down or if he regresses a lot, Tyler Boyd can be that number one wide receiver in Cincinnati. We saw it late last season. DJ Moore, great pick. Is the wide receiver one on a talented quarterback's offense. Now, mind you, Newton isn't a great passer, but he tends to pass enough, and Moore will get enough targets to be fantasy relevant. Great pick. N'Keal Harry is a breakout guy. Rookie season, he could put up some big numbers. Of course, he could not, but we'll have to see from that. Royce Freeman, Jalen Samuels are both guys who aren't starting at this point, but they have the potential to put up numbers if they're and really, really good numbers at that if the starter goes down. Barber is the starter at this time, but he's still battling with Rojo, so we'll have to see what happens there. Fant is a great tight end. I think that's going to be his tight end one, yeah. So I'm iffy on that, but I like it. Damien Harris is rookie running back, great rookie running back, but I don't know what we'll get from him. We'll have to see it, and because New England has always run that offense with the running back by committee. So we'll have to see what he gets there. And then Darnold, of course, is going to be a good quarterback. I think all the quarterbacks that were drafted, honestly, have really high potential. Yeah. So and most of them have high floors as well. So this is a really good draft to wait on your quarterback with compared to previous years when you had to get a quarterback, one of the top 8 quarterbacks, or you had a rough season ahead of you. All these guys have potential to put up good numbers, and we'll just have to see where it goes. But overall, this was a fantastic mock. I want to thank everybody once again for joining us on the Fantasy Flavor podcast. Again, it's just me and first ever solo podcast. We'll see how this one goes with all you fans. But we love you all. Hope to see you again at the next podcast, and I hope you enjoy. Peace.